Okay, so this is the first portion of the WeFit Reset program, which will run a few days before we do We Festive, 12 Days of Fitness. And then it will also run the last week of December into January before we start cycle 69. So this is strength day A. It's a slightly different setup because we have this like quick little group warm up. So you're still going to do your same dynamic warm up, but because we're trying to get into a little bit more overhead, we're working in some rotation to help work into the TGUs. We are all going to start the group off with 30 seconds, a straight arm bar hold, left side and then right side. So you'll see that in the timer. So for the straight arm bar, the way that I usually will coach this is I'll tell people whatever bell you feel like you could comfortably press 5 times overhead, no problem, like having a conversation while doing that, you're gonna go a bell or 2 down from that. So if somebody's comfortably pressing a 16, they're gonna grab a 14 or a 12, because this isn't meant to be super, super heavy. This is meant to work on stability of the shoulder and get a little bit of that rotation. This still needs to come down lower. Okay, so they're gonna start in the fetal position. I'm gonna show you both ways because I want you to be able to see my shoulder pack, but I also want you to hear what I'm saying. Even though I have a microphone, I don't trust it. So they're gonna start in a fetal position, like so. And then I'm gonna roll to my back as if I was gonna start a TGU. I'm gonna press this same side up. This arm, instead of going out at a 45 degree, is gonna go all the way over my head, and my bottom leg is gonna go completely straight. What I'm gonna do then is roll until I'm stacked, bring this bent leg over, and I'm making sure that my wrist, elbow, shoulder are all in a straight line. My ear should be resting on my bicep, and I'm just holding here for 30 seconds, maintaining that stability. There are different levels to this, but for the sake of the first time you run this with people, this is gonna be your position 1. Okay, this is what everybody's doing the first time you take them through the WeFit Reset. Once you've done that left side, they're gonna roll to their back and then bring the kettlebell down. If you see somebody who does this, right, they drop the kettlebell as they roll, please immediately correct them. It is very, very unsafe. They can hurt themselves or others because they're not controlling the bell. So same thing, other side, they're gonna hold each one for 30 seconds, right, to my back, I press up, my opposite arm goes straight overhead. I want it to face you guys. This is great. I wanna face you all. So we're coming this way. Okay. Opposite arm goes straight, here we go, leg is straight. I'm rolling to my side, I'm bringing this leg over and I'm relaxing, right? So sorry, I got a little close to the camera, but my head is relaxed on my bicep. I can see the bell out of the corner of my eye. Okay, so this is the first part, which we did on the other side. So progression 2, this is becoming a great video. Okay, up. Okay. First piece, first time you run WeFit Reset, day A strength, this is what everybody's doing. If you run it a second time, you can play around with bringing the hip to the ground. So reaching both legs straight and coming here. Now, I wouldn't recommend that they hold that for 30 seconds. So what you would do is have them start here, let them slide here for 2 to 3 breaths, come back to that hold for the remainder of the time, roll to the back, control the bell down, roll to your side with both hands, okay? I don't want anybody letting those bells slam to the ground. Okay, our second work set on strength day A for WeFit Reset, I'm gonna mess that up so many times, we're bringing back in that sort of teaching the clean progression. So WeFit Reset is all about trying to let members really own and hone all of their kettlebell skills. Okay, so this one is gonna be a 10-minute AMRAP It's going to have a single arm bent over row, a kettlebell deadlift with a caveat that you can let them play around with a single arm deadlift if you think that's more helpful for them. Single arm swing clean, right? Swing clean is always the base standard. Dead cleans when needed, and no hang cleans with kettlebell. We don't hang clean with kettlebell. Maybe in functional kettlebells, but that's not what we're doing. And then break dancers. Okay, so for that single arm bent over row, I want them to do the row with the bell between their feet. Okay, so that means they are going to have to kind of pull across their body a little bit, but for this one, because we're trying to get them into a clean, this is going to give them the correct biomechanical foundational movements to hit the single arm clean. Whereas yes, typically we would stand on the outside and hit the row here because then it's a straight line pull. So they're going to hinge those hips back, they're going to grip onto the bell, and they're going to rotate as they hit the side of the body. Again, trying to come to the ground every time. So from the side, we're here, packing that shoulder in, trying to make sure they're loading those glutes and keeping that nice, strong, stable trunk. From there, they have a kettlebell deadlift. So they're going to stand over top of the bell, drive those shoulders back, stand tall. For members who are pretty competent in a swing clean, you can have them go really heavy with this. This can be their heavy exercise of this grouping so that they feel like they're still getting a workout, even though it's a skill breakdown AMRAP. So you're gonna pack those shoulders, drive those elbows forward. Big exhale as you stand tall, lower to the ground. Again, to increase the challenge here, you could have them do a slow lower, have them do eccentric, 5 seconds to the ground, tap, exhale, come back tall. If you have newer members or people who are trying to really work on their clean, right? We have the single arm row. You can pack the shoulder, single arm deadlift, because then when we get to that swing clean, all they're doing is doing a row and stand together, row and stand, okay? Your next exercise is gonna be 5 single arm swing cleans, just says clean because your standard clean is always a swing clean on each side. So 2 feet back from the bell, nice strong hike, zip up the jacket, right? So we're here, pack that shoulder, hike, zip up the jacket, back down, zip up the jacket. Something I've been seeing a lot lately, especially with the traveling clean, is people trying to stay upright, right? If I have a logo on my shirt, that logo should go slightly towards the ground when I hit that backswing. If I'm staying up, you can't hit the backswing. They end up way down here, right? You want to backswing here, backswing here, okay? Making sure that that rack position is like so. So the wrist is neutral. The hand is at about collarbone height. Now I'm crooked. Hand is at about collarbone height. The forearm should be diagonal. If they're trying to stack, the bell is pulling my arm out. If they're out, my deltoid's gonna fatigue. So you have this slight angle, you just rest right there, okay? Once they've done their cleans, they're gonna do their break dancers. So they're gonna go to the floor. This is something that will help with strength day B for the TGU day. So they're coming onto hands and knees, elevate onto the toes, shoot through, shoot through, shoot through, okay? If they don't feel comfortable with that, you can give them an alternating bear march, okay? If that still doesn't feel great, give them a bird dog, okay? 10-minute AMRAP should be pretty simple. You should have a lot of free time here to be able to move around the space and give people individualized cueing. At least that's what we're hoping with the WeFit reset programming. The next work set is going to be skill building for swings. So it's kind of a condensed version of a work block we did a few cycles ago. The first piece is going to be a kettlebell pull through. So we're finding that plank. So they're going to do 5 and 5 to each side, and then kind of similar to our day C current cycle, they're then going to hold for the remainder of the time until there's 10 to 15 seconds left. So let's say it takes them, 20 seconds to do the kettlebell drag through. They're then going to hold until either that 30-second mark or the 35-second mark. So this is just making sure that we're maximizing the time that they're spending in the plank. The second piece is going to be 2 kettlebell hikes, 3 dead stop swings, and then 5 consecutive swings, all on the 45 seconds. That one might be a little tighter, but we should be fine with it. The last piece is going to be heavy kettlebell swings, 5 to 10. Now, heavy can be relative for your member. So if it's somebody who's been coming to class, let them do that lower range reps and higher weight, right? So like, you know, a 32 with 5 swings, or 28 or 20 for them, whatever's heavy for them for 5 swings. If it's somebody who's newer and we're trying to get repetition, drop the weight down, let them try and hit 10 swings or build them up over the time that they're doing this work set. So it's just 2 rounds. So you'll have round 1 and then round 2 to work on that swing. And then when the WeFit reset programming comes back around, okay? So for that first piece, your kettlebell pull through. So kettlebell pull through, you're gonna find your kettlebell. You're gonna set up your plank so that it starts opposite the side you're gonna pull through first, okay? So you wanna make sure that they are reaching under, pull through, reset their plank. Pull under, right? There's a lot of people I'll see that try to pull it this way. You don't wanna do that. That can risk a shoulder injury, okay? So they're pulling from under and across. Once they've done 5 and 5, you're gonna hold that plank until you tell them they can bring it down, right? So either at that 30-second mark or at the 35-40 mark, okay? The next grouping of exercises on the 45 is 2 hikes, 3 dead stop swings, 5 consecutive swings. So demonstrating 2 feet back, nice strong chop at the hips, drive those shoulders down the spine, big inhale, hike, exhale as the bell comes forward. They should go to that same position, making sure that those hips aren't driving up. So if you're seeing this, they are losing the tension in their legs. So making sure that their hips are staying down. Dead stop swing, all those same tension techniques, big hike, snap tall, let the bell come in that upper triangle on the backswing, right? So we want that bell tracking above the knees. So if I have a nice strong pendulum, right, my bell is going above the knees, whether I'm doing a dead stop or a consecutive swing. If they're not hinging correctly and they're squatting, you're gonna see that bell drop below the knees, okay? So 2 hikes, 3 dead stop swings. Exhale as they stand tall. Exhale as they stand tall. 1 more dead stop swing, and then they can go right into their 5 consecutive, okay? And then that last piece is the 5 to 10 consecutive swings. Again, this one they can use a heavier kettlebell if it's appropriate for them. Okay, so the last work set on strength day A for WeFit Reset is going to be work with their clean and press, and then a little overhead reverse lunge piece so that that can help with the TGU day. So basically we're putting everything together that they did in that first main work block with their row, deadlift, clean. They're gonna start, it's sort of like a target chase. So they're gonna start on the left side, it's gonna be an EMOM. So minute 1 is gonna be left side only, 1 clean, 3 presses, 5 overhead squats. Minute 2 is gonna be right side only, 1 clean, 3 presses, 5 overhead reverse lunges. I said overhead reverse squat. I'm very sorry. We're not squatting. It's an overhead reverse lunge. So that's the first 2 minutes. Second time we come back around, we're moving those numbers. So it's going to be 3 cleans on the left, 5 presses, 1 overhead reverse lunge. Whatever time they have left in the minute is rest. Minute 4, we're going to the right side, but staying on the same number sequence. So it's 3 cleans, 5 presses, 1 overhead reverse lunge. And then the final 2 minutes, 5 cleans, 1 press, 3 overhead reverse lunges. So what I would say in terms of equipment for this, and I did put it up at the top, right? Overall for the day, you're gonna need a light overhead bell, a 2-hand swing kettlebell, you could go 2 for your advanced members, and then a 5 rep press bell. So they're gonna be using their 5 rep press bell for this one. So for minute 1, we have 1, 3, 5, and we're gonna go left side. So they will clean the bell nice and strong, stand tall, exhale as they press, inhale down, exhale press. For 3, hold the bell overhead, and then they're going to step with that opposite leg, because that's what you would do for a TGU. Come as close to tapping the knee on the ground as they can, or tap the knee. They would go for 5. Okay, so we've done 5 overhead reverse lunges. Control the bell down, take it back to the ground. Whatever time they have left in that minute is rest, and then it would go 3, 5, 1, 5, 1, 3. Okay, so it's all on the program. Clean press, overhead reverse lunge.